next. We gon' put them boys to rest like a 10 feet of bed. I'm ahead of the rest like I came without a net. They gon' say it under breath, I'ma say it with my chest. I got it wrapped like a toga. Put the whole team on my shoulders. Hold up, wake these boys up, call me soldier, soldier.
First opened in 2002. There's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. Today, after a crazy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. First game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in week 2. Kene Nwangwu now out of his end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped it to 23. Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber who runs like this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Again, it's Cook. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he will finally be wrestled down at the Lions' 23-yard line. 54 yards rushing for him as he's got the afternoon off to a great start. So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. They had trouble stopping the run last week in a loss, and here it rears its ugly head early.
You're supposed to try and get your confidence going after a loss like that where you gave up big yards running the football. This is not the way to go about it. It looks exactly as it did just a week ago.
A good pickup there, 21 yards.
Boy, no problems getting down the field here on this opening drive. They've looked really sharp in the early going, and they've come up with some big plays already. Here's it.
And he will take this one into the end zone for a Viking touchdown. A great effort there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Vikings are on the board first here this afternoon. Extra point right down the middle. And that makes the score 7-0. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Cost him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. And they'll run it. This is James Robinson. And he's going to be stopped here on this first play as he gets it to the line of scrimmage and no more. No gain on the play there. 2nd down. This defense for the Vikings, terrific last week in the season-opening victory.
And one of the key things you always look for when you're evaluating a defense is how opportunistic are they? How many takeaways do they get per game? And how about last week's game? That number?
In trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. So it's 3rd and long, and defensively not a real surprise there in the dive. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. The throw for Claypool is intercepted. And the Vikings are going to take possession of the football. They're trying to resurrect his confidence. Last week was a disaster. 5 interceptions in that loss, and another pick there.
I played with a quarterback like this before, and he had a tough game, and the head coach said, I'll take him, I'll fix him. The very next game, he started out the exact same way. The head coach turned to the offense coordinator and said, he's yours from now.
They're looking for Jefferson, but this is intercepted. Picked off by Amani Oruwariye. And the Lions are going to have the football here at their own 35-yard line.
And as we've seen, points have been precious so far. They just threw some away on that snap. And look, let's face it, as we advance further into this game, that play will be on the minds of everyone who's watching it. They wonder, this is the turning point. Is this the spot where those points were given away and could cost them a ball game?
They start on the ground with Robinson here. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. Second down.
Not a lot of running room there. Not a place to make a cut and kind of exit out because they had everything bottled up. Looked to me like the linemen were taking on their blocks really well and giving up no creases.
That's caught by the big tight end, T.J. Hockenson. That one a first down pickup of 8. The Lions had 0-1 in the year following the loss in the opener. And listen, they knew last week they were in for a tough fight on the road. But now here's the home opener and a chance to get things right.
And I like the way that you presented that because the bottom line is they didn't come out of that loss discouraged. They just came home and said, hey, if we do what we're supposed to do, protect our home turf, we'll be just fine.
Steps away. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. And the Vikings are going to take possession of the football.
I think that interception happened for 2 reasons. Quarterback gets outside the pocket and panics a little bit, and receiver doesn't make sure he's absolutely in an open spot. So there's a guy lurking, took the ball from him.
Yeah, so don't wave your arms, right, as a receiver if you're not wide open.
Got to know that you're open. Otherwise, just don't do it.
First down, here's the run with Cook. Oh, he's got some breathing room. Touchdown, Vikings. Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
Like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively, obviously. 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit like, hey, didn't we practice in that colored jersey all week? Not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with it. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
They'll run. This is Melvin Gordon. 4 yards on the pickup there as it'll leave them with a third and about 4 more for a first.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice game like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Nice third down conversion at even 20 yards.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue.
And here's another interception, the third of this first quarter. Picked off by Lewis Seen. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Charles, it is pretty rare that we see a team build this kind of lead in the opening quarter. And, man, they seem to be clicking on all 3 phases right there. The defense doing its part with a pick 6.
and it's absolutely been the definition of a start that you would pick for yourself and for your team, right? And I have a feeling that they just want to stay in this zone. What's truly incredible about this start is they can add on a couple more scores. This one could legitimately be over in the second quarter.
21, Lions nothing.
So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Now, early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Lewis Sieve on the tackle. A gain of 5 brings up 3rd and 6.
21-0 our score after one.
The score, Vikings 21, Lions nothing.
They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. They'll set up to throw. This is Chase. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And the Vikings pick up the football. And his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line. These defenses have become so opportunistic, and no matter what you're playing, in this case wide receiver, you got to be careful.
You certainly do, because there is a phrase in today's football that we use all the time, completing the process of the catch. Well, it's after you do that where the trouble begins, right? Meaning you've tucked it away, you're trying to get downfield, but someone's always coming up trying to rake at the ball and knock it free.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
At the 47-yard line.
They'll try the middle with Cook. And he's going to get it across the midfield stripe into Lion territory. 93 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here this first half.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. From the gun on 3rd down. McKee, he lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Early on, the running game's been working well, and the offensive line has been pleased by that. The thought process there, catch those safeties creeping up, trying to help against the running game. They tried to hit them over the top, unsuccessfully.
And that is very well done there, as this will be marked out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Let's go old school there. That's absolutely a great coffin corner punt. Someone's put some time in working on that, hasn't it?
Seems like every year these guys get better and better. It's amazing how they can command that football through the air.
Yeah, they used to actually practice with hula hoops where they place them and try and put them there. Now a lot of guys use barrels on the sidelines to try and put them.
There goes Melvin Gordon. He's at the 50, 30, 10, 5, touchdown, Detroit. Melvin Gordon, his first touchdown of the new season. And the Lions are able to cut into that deficit. Maybe that is the boost that this offense needed.
They've done nothing the entire half, but out of the blue comes this big shot here. You're exactly right. Like a dunk in basketball, like a home run in baseball, maybe a solo shot. Sometimes you need that big play to get things ignited.
Michael Badgley on for the extra point. It's up, it's good, and that'll cut the lead to 21-7. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Obviously not the intended goal last drive. They had to punt the football, but still, they've got the lead here, and now a chance to add on to that lead if they can get points on this drive. 1st and 10 upcoming. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
He did a fine job there of not hitting it before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well, think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Cook up the gut, and that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
And that's what I like to see out of this defense, a little fire, a little toughness. It hasn't been the best first half for them. They did do a nice job there, forcing a loss on that play.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Trying to lay one up deep. And it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Mike Hughes. And the Lions are going to have it here at their own 32-yard line. 2nd interception for him now here in this first half. And you got to think he's a rookie, Charles. How much does confidence start to become a factor?
I think that's a great question because that's what they're going to check on when he gets to the sidelines. The coach is going to...
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. And the Vikings are going to take possession of the football. Well, CD, when you mentioned earlier about spreading the ball around in this game, I don't think you mentioned the guys in the other uniform. With 4 interceptions here in the first half, and several different guys have picked him off.
Yeah, instead of analyzing what's going wrong with him throwing the football, while we look at the defense, they came in prepared. Had excellent game plan, well scouted, and they're taking it away at almost every turn.
And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line. A nice throw right there. And Charles, this is game number 2 in the NFL for this young rookie. His guys getting the victory last week, and he played pretty well by most accounts. Curious, what did you see?
I saw something similar to what you described, Brandon, because I saw a guy who looked the part, a guy who was in command, not just with the touchdown passes, but definitely looked to be in control of the offense as well.
He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. A great play there. 32 yards. And the Vikings are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point splits the uprights, and the lead now to 3 touchdowns and 21. Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. This offense returning out there, and really, you remember the last drive, Charles, it was over before it even began. They threw the interception on the very first play.
And what that means is for all these guys, it's been a while since they've been out there going full speed, so they've got to get everyone back out there, run a couple of your go-to plays, make sure you get your offense oiled up a little bit. They've got to be able to start fast, but they've got to be efficient as well. Especially the quarterback.
And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
Hawk 70, Hawk 70.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. He's got his man, T.J. Hawkinson. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
That's good for a Lions.
Here we go.
First and 10 at the 42-yard line.
They'll give it to Gordon out of the shotgun. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
This guy's well on his way now to a big game on the ground. It's another good run there. Puts him over the century mark in yardage, and we're still in the second quarter.
On second down, Gordon once more. They find some open field here. And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds. 127 yards rushing for him now as this sensational afternoon continues.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
So first and 10 now from the 30. Throwing Jones. Out to his left. Johnson's got it complete. And shedding the tackle, and now some room. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
And I feel a little bit like a traitor as a former defender, because that big man did not want to go down and refused to go down. If you're a defender and you don't get the right angle on a big tight end like him, he can run right through you like you're not even there, and he did a lot of that on that play.
Quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
And my goodness, another interception. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Now the try here for the extra point. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead.
Vikings 35, Lions 7.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. Now a hit and a loose football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
As that ball got away from him and he saw the opposing team recover it.
He felt his pain?
Oh, I felt his pain, and you know what was going through his head. Tuck it away. Take care of the ball. All the things he hears all week in practice, he didn't carry it over into the game.
And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Now that's a run that warms a play caller's heart, because you're actually set up to do whatever you want on offense. You can come right back and run essentially the same play because you have momentum, or you can fake that running play and throw something deep over the top, or you now feel like you have an extra down to play with. Because if you go ahead and just throw it and you don't get it, come back and try and pick it up on third down.
It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal.
How about that there? No frills, no additives, right? Nothing crazy. Just find a way to pick up the 1st down. A nice run right there.
Left side, Cook. And he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
It's a loss of 1. Brings up 2nd and goal at the Lions.
So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we'll send you down to Orlando, we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn, getting set for quarter number 3 here. It'll be Lions football to start the 2nd half, and they trail here as we get back underway on EA Sports. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line, so bringing it out of the end zone proves not a good decision, loses him about 4 yards. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the 2nd half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history. That's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And partner, you know, as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. Let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late. That wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Well, how about the coverage we just saw break out on 3rd down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed, unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
And here now the punter Fox as he sends this one away. It'll be a net of 40 yards following a punt of 44. And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Well, it's hard to imagine the 1st half going any better for them, CD. And now here as they begin their 1st series of the 2nd half. I mean, they score here. This one, it's pretty much out of reach.
We honestly might already be at that point, partner, because this team, they were dominant in the 1st half, continue to be dominant now, and I think they're viewing this as a put-away drive on their way to a lopsided victory.
2nd down, they go right back to Cook. And some room to work. And he will finally be wrestled down at the Lions' 38-yard line. 119 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Great gains back-to-back. Last time over 30 yards, better than 20 here. You know, I have a pretty good friend, Charles Davis, who tells me that when he sees plays like that, strong runs to the right, reminds him of the 1960s Green Bay Packers.
Boy, those were the days back when the fullback actually carried the ball as well as blocked. Then you had a halfback, you had pulling guards, guys who could get out and run. And you can hear the great coach saying it back then. So we get a seal here and a seal here, and we run this play right in the alley.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. They run the counter with Cook. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming. 3rd down, here's a run by Cook. And they're going to lose some on this play. Being knocked back to the 18. Now the Vikings will send out the special teams crew here for a field goal try. And his kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further. So this drive maybe didn't end with the same kind of success they had in the first half, but they do add 3 to their lead.
And defensively, I think they went in there at halftime and made a pact with each other and said, look, we can't let these guys keep driving it right down our throats. Not perfect giving up 3, but a much better start than the way they played in the first half.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
And now another turnover as this one's intercepted. Oh, he bowls over him. And the Vikings will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line. And to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game, but that's something right there. Still in the third quarter. It would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still left in them. Hasn't been a banner day.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Dalvin Cook with career touchdown number 75. And the Vikings are pouring it on. Point after, right down the middle. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one.
At their own 18-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable now. Or win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles. But I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out.
Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Lewis Seen. And the Vikings are going to get the football here as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. Good starting field position for the Vikings as they have it 1st and 10 at their 38. They'll start the drive here with an end around. I don't think anyone in the building fooled right there, as that one is going to blow up in their faces. He lost 6 there on the first down play. So a nightmare start to the drive as they're already staring at 2nd and long. Up the middle, it's Cook. There's a nice move. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. It's a 6-yard pickup to get him back to the original line of scrimmage with 3rd down coming up.
Hey, check that.
Here's Cook again. A pretty good effort there, 9 yards, but not enough. We'll likely see the punt team now on 4th down. Before they can get the punt away, whistles as we've come to the end of the third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Vikings send out their punter as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. A very nice punt that time, but they get 11 back on the return. And the Lions will take over. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds. They've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Quick slant finding Claypool. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
Yeah, he will go out right near the 35-yard line. So that changes things a bit. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way down at the 35. Here's a give up the middle. It's Gordon. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
You've got to be impressed by that defensive front on reps like those. They were not being moved off the line, kept their shoulders square, and gave their teammates time to fight to the ball and limit that gain.
He's got a man. It's his fullback. And he's going to get this down near the 25.
Well, this has certainly been a nice drive with the way they've spread the football around. Here, they even get the fullback involved in the passing game. That's got to cause a lot of consternation on the defensive side. You've got to cover him, too. That makes things really difficult.
And Gordon's going to be stopped short. They'll be marked inches short. No gain on the play. And that's going to lead him to 4th down. He's having a big game running the football, but that one will hurt the yards per carry a little bit.
Yeah, but the average he's got so far, that's the type of average he wants to take with him to contract negotiations, doesn't he?
Desperation time now. Here's Jones. He's got a man open. It's Chase Claypool. And he is going to have the Lions first down as they manage to convert, and that'll keep the drive alive. And no reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on 4th.
1st and 10 at the 18-yard line.
So this drive going to continue following the conversion on 4th. Here's 1st and 10. They'll run it up the middle now. Gordon. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. On 2nd and 11 now. Jones sets up the screen to Gordon. Nothing on the screen that time. Now it's 3rd down.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. Now Jones. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. And the Vikings are going to take over at their own 30-yard line. And with this advantage, this defense knew that passes were coming, and they stayed in position, Charles, and picked one off here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, what a way to cap things off, because I think this is part of the game within the game. They see the scoreboard, they see what they can accomplish, and they went for it.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
2 yards on the pickup.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. 2nd and 8.
60 Vikings, 60 Vikings.
They'll try and wind down some clock with Cook. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. A yard in the wrong direction makes third down tougher. Third down and 9. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
The Vikings send out their punter as he'll come on to kick this one away. It's a 42-yard punt. They keep him to just a yard on the return. And they will take over first and 10. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they're trying to hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
On second down, they'll run with Gordon. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first.
That's a gain of 7. Brings up third and 3.
Now whistles and a flag down. Looked like one of the Lions linemen might have moved. Now after the false start, they need 8 yards here on third down. Looking to throw. Jones. He's got this. Complete to Williams. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. A gain of 32 that time. So the big play gets him across midfield now for first and 10. Operating from the gun. Jones. Pass incomplete, but the flag in the backfield, and this might be a roughing call. Yeah, no question. He got to the QB late, CD, and that's going to get a flag every time.
Every single time. Because let's face it, the league is always going to have an emphasis on these calls. They want to take care of these quarterbacks who are in vulnerable positions when they're passing the football.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
Throwing again on second and 10. Jones. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
And this one is right through. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. And as this defense walks off the field, they can do so with their heads held high. What a performance by the offense, too. I mean, really, Charles, just complete domination on both sides.